In the first chapter of Your Soul's Master Plan, we explored why the soul chooses pain, not as a punishment, but as a sacred curriculum for growth and remembrance. We looked at how life's challenges are not random afflictions, but invitations. Invitations to awaken, to feel, to remember what we are made of. So, in this video, we continue this exploration through the quiet lens of soul awareness. We'll explore why some souls seem to choose paths of darkness, why others live lives of ease, and how we can face injustice without closing our hearts. Let us travel beyond the surface of events, beyond the noise of right and wrong, into the quiet rhythm of our soul's plan, where every choice, every encounter, every lifetime becomes part of an eternal unfolding of learning, compassion, and return to the truth. So breathe deeply and allow these words to sink beneath the thought, into the stillness of your being, because the truths of the soul are not meant to be analyzed, but they are meant to be felt. So why do some souls choose darkness? This is one of humanity's oldest and hardest questions. Why would any being born from light choose to bring harm into the world? Why would a soul whose essence is love enact what we call evil? To approach this, we must shift from a human lens of judgment to the soul's lens of evolution. When we say the soul chooses pain, we're not glorifying suffering. We're recognizing that the soul learns through contrast, through experiencing what love is not. It deepens its understanding of what love truly is. But when we see the acts of cruelty or intentional harm, it's natural to recoil, to ask, how could this possibly be part of the divine order? From the human perspective, it can't be justified, nor should it be. From the soul's perspective, however, there is no eternal punishment, only cause and effect, and the infinite opportunity for learning. The universe itself is a perfect mirror, always seeking equilibrium. When a human acts in hatred, fear, or greed, what we're truly witnessing is a deep disconnection, a profound forgetting of the soul's nature. Evil, as we call it, is not a substance. It is the absence of remembrance. It is, let's say, love in exile. The soul, in its vast journey through lifetimes, sometimes enters experiences that test the very boundaries of its own light. Not all such choices are conscious from the human level, but they are part of the grand tapestry of exploration and growth. Some souls choose to walk through shadow to understand what separation feels like, to explore the illusion that one can live without empathy, without connection. This does not mean that the soul decides to be the evil. It means it agrees to experience the farthest edge of the free will, to know the consequences of forgetting love so deeply that the journey back to the remembrance, it becomes a revelation. We can think of it as a vast cosmic education. Just as a soul might choose poverty to learn gratitude, or loneliness to rediscover connection, another soul might, through lifetimes of imbalance, explore the anatomy of harm, not to glorify it, but to eventually awaken from it. So you see, these acts, as horrifying as they appear to our human hearts, they serve as catalysts, not only for the one that is committing them, but for all those that are affected from it. Every act of harm creates ripples through the collective consciousness, the awakening compassion, resilience, forgiveness, and the human will evolve beyond fear. That does not make suffering acceptable. It makes it meaningful. It makes it transformable. Every soul, in the end, must face its own creation as energetic alignment, the universe returning all frequencies to balance. A being that inflicts pain will one day experience that vibration to understand and not to punish. This is the natural rhythm of cause and effect, the sacred mechanism through which empathy is born. Across lifetimes, this balancing unfolds with high precision. Some call it karma, and others may call it the soul's curriculum. Either way, it is not about vengeance, it is about realization. And so, even in the darkness, the learning continues eternally. The moment awareness returns, the moment the soul sees the pain it has caused, the harm it has perpetuated, that awareness becomes light. It begins the process of healing, of integration, and of returning home, let's say. In that sense, darkness serves a strange and paradoxical role in the evolution of consciousness. It becomes the contrast that makes the return to love not just a concept, but as an embodied truth. The soul expands through its mistakes, through its forgetfulness, until it can no longer deny its own essence. It comes to see that even in its deepest descent or deepest fall, it was still held by the same source that sent it to experience all this. And in that moment of remembrance, light floods the very place where darkness once was living, and a new level of understanding, a new level of compassion is born. For every soul that falls, countless others awaken. For every wound inflicted, opportunities for healing arise across generations. This is to understand that nothing is wasted. No experience is outside of the scope of, let's say, divine transformation. Even the darkest paths, when understood through the eyes of the soul, eventually bend towards light. They remind us that love's reach is infinite, and no being, however lost, is beyond redemption. So, what about the souls who live in comfort? The one that seems gentler but holds equal depth? What do souls learn from a life of ease? Why do some souls seem to glide through the existence untouched by tragedy, while others face relentless storms throughout the life? This question arises from the deeply human assumption that struggles means growth, but the soul, which has infinite creativity, learns in countless different ways. A comfortable, harmonious life is not a lesser path, it is simply a different classroom in which a soul learns from presence, gratitude, and conscious counting of blessings. Imagine a soul that has, over many lifetimes, experienced loss, hardship, illness, and pain, and it has learned resilience, forgiveness, empathy. Now it desires integration, a lifetime to rest, to create, to be in joy without chaos. That lifetime of ease becomes a breathing space in the soul's long journey of evolution, like a chance to express love, to share light, to simply just be. In such lives, lessons are subtle but very profound as well. A happy, comfortable life tests the soul's ability to remain awake amid the abundance, to not drift into, let's say, unconscious pleasure. It challenges the soul to remember humility, to practice generosity, to stay connected with empathy even when survival is no longer a concern. There is a quiet discipline in peace. Gratitude becomes the central teacher, let's say, with the ability to recognize that ease is not an entitlement but a sacred opportunity. And service becomes the natural outflow by using one's gifts and comfort to uplift the others, to create beauty and to inspire hope. Some souls choose to embody joy so fully that they raise the vibration of those around them simply by being, like sunlight reminding the forest of its own aliveness. These souls show humanity that peace itself can be a spiritual practice, that one can grow through harmony just as much as through challenge. Yet, even in comfort, growth continues. Ease is never static. The universe moves in cycles, and if gratitude fades, if awareness dulls, life will gently or not so gently introduce the contrast again. Again, not as punishment, but as a loving, gentle nudge to stay awake to the eternal internal truth of your soul. So we can say that a soul's lessons in comfort or a very comfortable life with ease, the lesson might include learning to balance the abundance with humanity and with humility, to recognize the interconnection even when the self feels secure, to embody the love without needing a pain as motivator, to use freedom for creation, and to stay mindful in pleasure or to be grounded in joy. Ease becomes a field for conscious mastery, and where the soul learns to express love as its natural, radiant state. Not to express love as a reaction to suffering. You see, the universe is never unfairly divided. What may look like privilege or fortune on the surface is often hiding its own lesson of responsibility and self-awareness. And what looks like misfortune often conceals the soul's greatest opportunity for expansion. So, both paths are sacred, and both paths serve the same purpose: the awakening of consciousness and the awakening to itself. Now, to the third and perhaps the most delicate question: if everything is a lesson in life, should we simply accept the injustice and wrongness as a part of learning? Should we stay in harmful situations, wrong relationships, wrong jobs, wrong systems, because they're part of the soul's plan? This is where spiritual understanding meets the human responsibility. From the soul's higher vantage point, yes, everything holds a purpose for a lesson, growth through personal, individual experience. Every situation, even the painful ones, carry a message, a mirror. But that awareness is not an invitation to endure the unnecessary suffering. It is a call to awaken through this unnecessary suffering. You see, acceptance from a soul's perspective does not mean passivity. It means clarity. It means seeing reality as it is, recognizing the lesson that it holds, and then consciously choosing your next step in alignment with the truth, the soul's truth. You are not here to stay in situations that diminish your spirit. You are here to recognize when the lesson is complete and to walk forward in your internal freedom. When you find yourself in a wrong situation, a toxic relationship, an unfulfilling career, a pattern of self-betrayal, your soul is not asking you to tolerate it. It is asking you to look deeper. What part of me called this in? What does this reflect about my self-worth, my boundaries, and my voice? What am I being asked to remember? The moment awareness dawns, the transformation begins. The moment you recognize your shadow, the recognizing itself is shedding light into your shadows. You are being invited to choose differently. And choosing differently is not rebellion against destiny, it is destiny fulfilled. The soul's plan is not a rigid script. It's a field of possibilities, and your free will is how the plan evolves in real time. So when injustice or misalignment arises, the invitation is not to numb yourself to it, but to respond consciously, to integrate the lesson and take the empowered action for your soul's growth, for your own individual growth. The learning here is not endurance, it's discernment, it's empowerment, and most importantly, self-love. Discernment to recognize what serves your growth and what does not. Empowerment to remember that you are a creator, not a victim. Action to step into alignment, even when it requires courage. Self-love to honor your sacred worth by refusing to live in diminishment. And compassion to understand that others too are learning through their own distortions of truth. So when you make choices rooted in love rather than fear, you start to shift timelines. You alter your karma. You evolve the collective field. For every act of conscious choice, the web of humanity changes subtly but profoundly. Your awakening is not isolated, it ripples outwards and offers permission for others to awaken too. So, yes, every experience can be seen as a soul's lesson, but the highest form of learning is the realization that you have power to transform your circumstances, to bring light into darkness, and to live truthfully. You are not here to glorify suffering, you are here to alchemize it. You are not here to surrender to injustice, you are here to transform it through awareness and compassionate action. The soul learns through contrast. Yes, but it evolves through the choice, your conscious individual choice. When you choose truth, even in small ways, leaving a painful relationship behind, speaking an honest word, standing up for love in a fearful world, you realign your human life with your soul's blueprint, let's say. You bring heaven a little closer to earth. So, whether your path now feels bright or shadowed, calm or chaotic, remember this, that you are never being punished. You are being perfected. Your soul is not here to suffer endlessly, nor it is here to float through the ease without any meaning. It is here to experience the full spectrum, to know itself as love through every contrast possible. Every event in your life, every heartbreak, every joy, every loss, every victory is part of a larger choreography of remembrance. You are learning what cannot be taught through words, the direct knowing of your infinite nature. And though the world may seem chaotic, though darkness may sometime rise to the surface, know this, that all of it, every shadow and every beam of light, is moving towards the same purpose, the truthful awakening of the soul. From the soul's perspective, you are not lost. You are unfolding. You are not broken. You are becoming whole. And you are not a mistake in this divine story, but you are one of its verses. So walk with awareness, with compassion. Walk knowing that every step, whether through darkness, comfort, or the courage to stand for what is right, it brings your soul closer and closer and closer to what it has always been. Love remembering itself. And in that remembrance, you become the light that guides the others home as well.